right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to our Hahn concert. This is always, I was telling one of my colleagues that this is my favorite concert of the year because it's the first fifth grade concert, and it's always an exciting time for them. And so they get to show you what they've been working on since the beginning of the year. And so their portion is kind of built on, we're going to explain to you what we've been building on in class, from the squeaks and squawks you heard at the beginning to now what they can do. And then you'll be amazed from now, and then February there's another concert, and then and May at the end you'll just be blown away at their progress. And then in between we'll play some fifth grade songs, and our sixth grade we'll play a song, and then we'll play some songs out of the book and kind of go back and forth in like a continuous format. So you'll be able to see, it's really nice to be able to see these guys were over here last year playing the same songs. So it's really neat to see their progress. Okay? The first 10 that are on the program, this is like 1 through 10 or 1 through 11, are going to demonstrate like our first basic skills of, we introduce 5 notes to them that we can build a lot of songs on. And so we're going to kind of move through those fairly quickly. They start with introducing a note, and then we build some quarter notes on just keeping a note on a pulse. And then we build 5 notes up into a song, which is their first song that their mind is like, oh my gosh, I have to do all 5, I can't do that. And then that's what music is all about, is finding the wall, and we push them past the wall. And then all of the gratification behind being a musician happens after all of that struggle. So it's a failure process. They have to fail in music to be able to succeed. So we fail, and then we start getting little wins, and then we celebrate them, and then all of a sudden they're like, yeah. So it's not an instant gratification, it's a very delayed gratification after a lot of struggle and a lot of stress, and then they're like, dang, they feel really proud of themselves because they overcome that struggle. So it's a really good lesson that we try to get the kids to learn in music. Before we do that, we like to demonstrate what it sounded like our very first time playing. Now that would happen in like little classes. I know my class is like 30 kids, and I think all the other we meet in a bunch of little classes throughout the day at Hahn for fifth grade band. So we're going to demonstrate our first time what that would have sounded like. All right. Luckily, that lasts a little short amount of time. And hopefully it sounds better than that at home, and you saw the difference in that too. And then after that, we get them to put their instrument together, and a lot of them get really surprised at like how much time we have to spend on just putting instruments together and getting a reed on and getting an embouchure set and all of those things. It's just a tedious process, and having to do that with like 7 different instruments in the room, and it's a challenge. And then we just learn how to work together as a team. So we'll demonstrate to you our first like 10 songs in the book, which is introducing a note, giving a little bit of complexity to it, and kind of building on. So we built 5 notes in there, and then we get to our next song, which is the Fab Five. So I call our first 5 notes the Fab Five notes. And so these are the first time that we're playing all 5 in different combinations of them. And many of them, when they get to this one, they're like, okay, especially flutes. And I have to say, our flutes they're amazing in being able to move forward. The flutes are very complex motor skills there. And I just remember, I tell them all the time, you just got to keep trying. You got to be the hardest trier. You got to keep moving. And they were really diligent this year and went a long way. So this is the Fab Five. Off. It's my bad. And then we move on kind of through the book. And so this one gets to be a little bit more complicated. We do more basic music patterns. And so this is called First Flight. Thank you. And then we move into some easier songs that most of them know. And so we get into a song called Rolling Along. We call it something different for a couple different reasons. But once they figure out the actual song, then they're like, oh, I got it. And then they want to practice it, and they get really great. So this is more dealing with still quarter notes, notes that happen on the pulse. So every time they're tapping their toe, we're doing a quarter note. So this is Rolling Along. We're going to combine the next 2. One of them is a rhythm exercise in the book that we're going to demonstrate how we learn and show rhythm in the class. And then right after it is a song built on the same rhythm. This rhythm now does a half note, which requires them to sustain a note for 2 of their beats. So we're mixing half notes and quarter notes. So we're showing them all the variations we can do with measuring sound over time. So the next 2 will combine together. And then I think this one is just well placed. The next one we have hot cross buns. The kids usually know it, whether they play recorder or some way in elementary school they have learned that tune. And it just stays on 3 notes, and it's kind of a nice breather in the middle, because a lot of them get really stressed over all these notes that they got to read. There's 1,000 things going on in their head when they play music. Every part of your brain lights up when you're a musician playing music. It's like one of the healthiest activities for your brain. And so this is kind of like night, and it builds confidence back in some kids that might have a little hard time right now, and they get back into hot cross buns, and they're like, yeah, I got this, I can do it. And so this is hot cross buns. All right, and I'll have one last one for my portion of the concert, and this will be Go Tell Aunt Rhody. They get to this one, and we have to prep them because it's the longest song they've played. It mixes all 5 notes with half notes and quarter notes, and we have some notes that aren't next to each other, and they have to remember what note is here and what note is here when they skip. And so a lot of them, it's just a big confidence booster. We do a lot of breaking things down. We can't like take that whole song and learn it in one fell swoop. So we take and break it into mini songs. We do 2 measures at a time. I'm going to demonstrate just kind of the process that we teach kids, like how to do, how to learn a song. So we used it a lot on this one. So, and we even try to instill this so when they're at home practicing on their own, they have to know the rhythm. They have to know the notes. They have to know the fingerings of the notes, and then they have to be able to do those together and play. So we kind of build that process. We're going to demonstrate it to you just one time through this one. So when we get through that process, I use it as a gauge. If they can't do all 3 of those steps, they're not ready to play a song. Okay, so if they can't do that, they have to analyze which one they can't do and then work on it and then build it back together. But when we get to that spot, it'll sound like this. Go Tell Aunt Rhody. It's like kind of the first checkpoint song of like putting everything together, and we get an idea where they're at. All right, we're going to give our 5th grade band a little rest. We're going to bring out Mr. Schuster, and he will talk to you about our 6th grade band.
Crazy kids. I'm going to talk about this group a lot, but not yet. What I'm going to do now is that I'm going to shift the focus over to the 6th graders. And the amount of time, the first, I would say, 6 weeks, is about what it took to learn successfully, I would say, these first 5 notes. And I'm going to talk about that in a hot second, too, because you have no idea how happy I am when I hear Go Tell Aunt Rhody sound like that. It's a great day for me. But this is the reason that we're putting both bands on stage is for 2 reasons. One, so they can hear what they're going to turn into, and to have an audience like this. This is probably one of the most packed houses I've ever seen at an instrumental music program. So thank you so much for coming out. Really appreciate it. Our 6th grade, they are going to be performing a piece called Andalusia. So for those of you who've been listening to the 5th graders, when they got started, there's hope. I'm just telling you. We really appreciate you being patient with us. On stage now is we have a student teacher this year. He's a former Davison grad. He's also the graduate of Central Michigan University in music education, and he's doing his work here. And he's going to take over with the 5th grade band. This is Mr. Jake Crotto.
All right, so we're going to put these next 2 pieces together, going on to page 7 of the infamous 6-7. Okay, the next 2 pieces introduce the concept of whole notes and whole rests. These all last 4 beats. Rhythm rap requires these young musicians to count and clap, and then the whole thing, get it, whole thing, is the same rhythm, but the kids are playing. The next one, number 22, is split decision. This is the first time that these young musicians will be playing different parts at the same time. This builds the independence as players, as different sounds will be happening simultaneously. The next piece is march steps. This introduces two important concepts, both key signatures and jumps. Key signatures tell the musicians how many flats or sharps are in the piece, and jumps are notes that are not up or down the scale. So everything has been up or down the scale, now they're jumping notes. The final selection for my part of the fifth grade concert is Listen to Our Sections. This piece highlights each section: brass, which consists of trumpets, trombones, and baritones; woodwinds, which consists of clarinets, saxophones, and flutes; and percussion, which will be played by our favorite band directors, Mr. Davis and Mr. Schuster. Yes. Each section will play at different times, so it's another way to gain independence as players. After this, the sixth grade band will be performing Chewy Chocolate, conducted by teacher cadet Miss Boros.
So I was fortunate on my last year of teaching at the high school. I had a phenomenal flute player, and her name was Eden Boros. And for some reason, she wanted to do, and I'm very honored and happy that she does, do her teacher cadet with us at the middle school. She comes with us, or at the Hahn building. She comes to our building every morning, sometimes at the beginning of the day, and she stays all day, even though she doesn't have to, but she wants to. And she's thinking about having a career in music education. And I think if she chooses to follow this path, I think she'll be great. So ladies and gentlemen, Miss Eden Boros. Ms. Burrows will be continuing with working with our fifth grade band. She is going to be, the next piece for them is going to be called Lightly Row. This is an introduction for key signatures for all the fifth graders to understand that, yes, the thing in between the time signature and the clef actually matters. And this is their first introduction to that. The fifth grade band will be moving on to number 30, which is London Bridge. This is the first time that we're really solidifying player independence with two different parts and a duet that is now introducing harmony along with the, up to now, pretty much everyone's been playing the melody or in unison. Now we are creating two-part harmony. And of course, no concert would be complete if we didn't play one of Mozart's most famous melodies. Their next performance of Doodle All Day is an introduction again. Well, it's not really an introduction. It's enhancing the concept of using all 5 notes and using more leap motion than just stepwise motion. And of course, since it snowed earlier this week, this is when you're all supposed to go, because everyone loves snow, we decided that we wanted to play for you Jingle Bells. And let's welcome back to the stage Mr. Brad Davis with their next selection.
Okay, our next song is called El Pato Loco, which translates to the Crazy Duck. And I'm the middle school band director. We have this loft in my room full of all kinds of goodies and relics and old things, because the middle school is a rather aged building. And so this is my 4th year here in Davison at Davison Middle School, and I was around digging in our attic, I guess, our loft or whatever it was, and I found a crazy duck. Then I was going to the library. Then I was going to the library and found a piece called The Crazy Duck, and it just was born, and now it's kind of like a little tradition. So we have the crazy duck always with us, and this, I don't know what this is, but some kind of hat. Now, I do this because I'm really curious on its existence, because it would have been in the loft at the middle school. It has to be, I know the previous directors, and none of them know anything about it. And so if you know any information about the duck, please email me, because I'm really curious. So I will do this until I retire. Hopefully, one of you had band in that room with somebody, and they know exactly what the story is of this duck, because it had to have a story to be created. So I hope you enjoy El Pato Loco, the Crazy Duck.
I'm going to finish up the portion of the 5th graders now. Up to this point, they have learned 5 notes, and then if you listen really carefully, they actually added a 6th. They had to learn basic nomenclature about what are the names of the notes of the spaces and the lines on a staff. They had to learn how to read their own clef. They had to learn several different types of rhythms. They've had to learn a whole lot in a very short amount of time. And to say that I was proud of them would be an understatement. They have been doing an exceptional job, because we tell them band is fun. We lie. It is fun, but it's a lot of hard work, and they figured that out, and they're still here, and they're still working hard, and I'm just greatly appreciative. Now we introduce what is called an 8th note, which is a subdivision of a quarter note, which is basically 2 notes within 1 beat. And we're going to start with a rhythmic exercise, and then the playing exercise. Then we take the concept of the eighth note and then we expand that into recognizable songs. How many of you have ever heard that making music or listening to music makes you smarter? Raise a hand. It's a lie. It's not true. I used to think it was until I finally figured out what it is. What happens is that for them to play one note on one instrument, that's 5,637 things happen in their brain to make one note. That's one note. That's not reading notes. That's not reading notes and then rhythms. That's not reading notes and rhythms and playing the correct pitch and assessing intonation. It's not. What happens is that when they play, their brain lights up with all the. I won't even get into the boring, the neurological synaptical firing patterns. You don't want to hear any of that. What you do want to hear is that it incorporates both sides of the logistic and the emotive side of the brain. And so basically, music is like doing push-ups for your head. And if you do it long enough, then eventually it does help you do things better. And another thing that I really love about music is that it's an application that I think any employer would want. How many employers would want someone that will do something over and over and over again until they get it right? Musicians are insane. Do you know how many times we played that song? It wasn't 4, maybe 400. But they still do it, and then they try to make it better every time. And their work ethic and their commitment and all those things are fantastic. Up to now, you've heard pretty much everything in major. Now we're going to introduce a new concept of minor music, and this is what this sounds like. Now they're learning about 2 different types of modalities, and it also introduced a 7th note into their repertoire, which they have been working on. Now it's time to start learning how to play independently. When one group is playing something that's completely different than what you're playing at that time. We're going to play Frere Jacques, and we're going to play it in a fugue, which is just a fancy name for a round, where one group starts at the beginning, and then the second group starts at the beginning when the first group gets to a certain measure. And it creates what's called counterpoint and harmony. And they've been working really hard on this. So, Frere Jacques. Before the 5th grade concludes with so far it's been their favorite song out of the book, I'd like to take a minute to say thank you. We have 2 very large 6th graders in the back. Miss Juliana Yerk and Sid Hamilton have volunteered to play with our sixth grade to help fill out our percussion section. And I want to give them a big round of applause and thank you so much for being here. After this concert, we're going to start talking to some of these musicians and see if they're interested in joining the percussion section, and then we make the transition from now until our next concert, which I believe is February 26th. So, that being said, their favorite song so far out of the book, Hard Rock Blues. And the sixth grade still has one more song, so once again, please welcome back to the stage Mr. Crotto.
All right, again, thank you for coming out. Just before we do our last piece with the sixth grade band, I do want to point out that our concerts are streamed, all but Music-a-thon, which is our last concert. They're streamed on YouTube through DTV. So we're very lucky to have this awesome crew here from DTV, and they do really quality work. And they're here on all of our concerts. So if you go on YouTube, and I search all through DTV Davison, and you can find recordings on there. Really high quality, lots of these cameras get in on their face, and then we have up above. It's just really high quality stuff, so we're very appreciative of that. And then also just our auditorium workers, Tori Lawrence, our auditorium director, and all of those, and just thank yous for all of that. After our last song, we have a lot of chairs up here that would take us forever, and it's always amazing if we can get 10, 15 people to come up and just help stack some chairs on racks. That will help us all get out of here really quickly. We'll just need a second to get all the kids off stage and find the racks and stuff backstage, and then come up, and many hands will make light work. So I hope you enjoy our last song with Mr. Crotto, and that will be Whirling Novas.